Good evening, class. I have the book that I started reading earlier, Rocks and Minerals. And tonight we're going to make some crystals. Well, we're going to make a crystal garden, the start of it, and then the crystals will begin to form. And again, I showed you today easy to find crystals on this side and harder to find crystals over here. I read that in the book earlier. And then I looked in the back in the glossary and it had a definition for crystal. It says crystal is the shape a mineral takes place in a rock when the rock forms. Okay, so again, our crystals aren't going to be big like this, but they will grow. And this will be kind of like a chemical reaction with the things that we're putting in there. And then I'll be able to take pictures and show you. So I have all the supplies here. The first thing that you need, if you decide to do this at home sometime, you don't have to, but I start with a sponge and I just cut them up into some pieces. And I have a little, like just aluminum pan, okay? And I'll show you the top angle of that in just a moment. And then the next things that you need is this liquid bluing. It's Mrs. Stewart's. It's hard to find. Usually I can find it in smaller grocery stores or you can order it online. I've already pre-poured that. You need it 3 tablespoons. I already took care of that. And then you need some ammonia. And this is hard to find right now, but a friend loaned this to me because I could not find any. And then you just need some regular salt. And then I also have some food coloring to make the crystals different colors. Okay, so what we're going to do first, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see what we are doing. Okay. All right, so I have my tin down here, my aluminum pan with the sponges. And you need the sponges for their like there's their sponges pores in there so they can absorb this mixture. Okay, I've read that you can even do it on like charcoal, but I always use the sponges. And then I kind of just spread them around a little bit because then that gives the crystals more room to grow. And then like I said, I had 3 tablespoons of the liquid bluing. And then I measured 3 tablespoons of the ammonia. And if you haven't messed with ammonia, it does have a strong odor. So make sure that if you're doing this with your child, that you definitely do that part, okay? To breathe it in directly. I stir that up together. And the liquid bluing will kind of stain a little bit, but it eventually wears off. And then it calls for 1 tablespoon of salt. I put 1.5 because the salt really helps to build the crystals. So I'll dump that in my mixture here. And I'm stirring it up. And it kind of makes a little sludge at the bottom where you really want that salt in there with it. And then I'll probably even add, in some of the recipes I've used, it says to add the salt on top too. So I stir that together. And then I'm just going to spoon it over the sponges. Again, be careful where you're pouring it because it can stain a little bit. You definitely want to try to scoop down low and get some of that salt and spread that all over. Makes kind of a thick kind of sludge. And then after I get done spooning all this on, and it's okay if some goes in the pan, that's perfectly fine. After I get done spooning this on, then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top too. If you have any animals in your house like I do, you will need to put this in a place where they cannot get to it, or babies. When the crystals begin to form, they're very delicate. So it's better not to handle it very much. It's best just to kind of leave it in a place where you can observe it. So I'm going to scrape all that out. Okay, I am going to add, like I said, just a little bit of salt on top. Just going to sprinkle some on there to make sure each sponge has some good salt on there. And then you can add food colors to it. Food coloring, you don't have to, but you can. So I'll add a couple drops. You can mix and match. You could do 1 sponge, all one color, or you can do a drop of different colors on there. I did the red, I did the blue and the green, so I'm gonna add a little bit of red. Do red and yellow for our Titan colors. And let me add a little bit of yellow. And then that's all there really is to it. I'll leave that set. It's better to do it in a dry place because it absorbs, the sponges absorb that mixture more quickly. They say if it's a humid place, it just might take a little bit longer. And they'll grow over, well, we should be able to watch them grow for probably at least a week, and then they will stay there. But if you touch them, they're very powdery and they will kind of fall apart, which is kind of neat to watch that part too. But you'll have to look real close to see the different shapes of the crystals. So there is our crystal garden. I'm going to go put it away so my cats cannot get to it. And then hopefully we'll have some growth by tomorrow and I can take a picture and show you guys. Okay, hope you enjoy watching this. Maybe sometime later this summer you can do this with your parents. Bye, guys.